welcome students. We shall continue the reproductive health understand, and today we shall discuss on contraceptions. Means that is technique to prevent pregnancy or to avoid fertilization. Means what are the technique there is present to prevent the pregnancy, and the used method and the method which we use, they are called contraceptives. They are called contraceptives. So there are so many contraceptives available in the markets, understand? So but there should be some conditions for the contraceptives, means for the ideal contraceptives, means conditions for the ideal contraceptives, understand? First is that it has no any side effect, means the contraceptive has no any side effect, understand? Because those method which we use, it has no any side effect, मतलब इसमें कोई side effect नहीं होना चाहिए, या हो भी तो बहुत कम, least, understand? Mainly. Then next one, easily available, आसानी से उपलब्ध हो जाए, understands? Second, its effects should be temporary, means on the necessity we use, and if there is no necessity we avoid it. So its effect is not permanent. So that is temporarily effect. And it should be registered by government, means that is government should be registered to this such type of contraceptives. मतलब इसे ऐसे हो कि जो इसे सरकार से मान्यता मिली and registered हो, not local, understand? So these are the some conditions which are for the contraceptives, for the good contraceptives. Now the methods. The methods which we use in such process. The methods are, first one, natural processes, understands? And natural means that has no any, there is no use of extra or outsider things in that. That is totally natural. Understand? First is that avoiding of sexual union during the ovulation period. During the ovulation period, if we avoid the sexual union, means there is no contact of a sperm and ovum in that period, so we can save it. Now, what is the ovulation period? We know that after menstruation, which continued for 2 to 8 days, generally 5 days, understand? On the ovulation start on 14th day. Ovulation start on 14th day, means on the 14th day from the ovary the ova comes to fallopian tube. On the 14th day, from the ovary, the ovum comes to the fallopian tube. After the formation, it comes to the 14th day in fallopian tube, and it stays there for 2 to 3 days. It stays there for 2 to 3 days, and if there is no fertilization in such period, it becomes useless. Understand? So we should save such periods, means that is should save 14th to 17th day. That is 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days. If we save, means if there is no fertilization take place, then there is no chance of pregnancy. अंडरस्टैंड? सो यदि इस समय में हम सेक्सुअल यूनियन को बचा दें, यानी किसी भी हिसाब से फर्टिलाइजेशन ना होने दें, तो फिर हमें बाकी समय में कोई चिंता नहीं है. यानी सो दैट्स पीरियड इज एसेंशियल टू सेव द unwanted pregnancy. So we must keep attention on these days, and to avoid them, to avoid us from the sexual union. Understand? So this is the periods. Second, discharge of sperm out of vagina. Discharge of sperm means at the time of discharging, we avoid it to drop in the vagina. Then we can save it. Lactation period means the period of milking, and in which the baby sucks the feeds. So if the lactation, during the lactation period, there is no menstrual cycle. Understand? During the lactation period, there is no, and if there is no menstrual cycle, no ovulation, no fertilization. If the lactation period is continued for some days, then there will be no chance of फर्टिलाइजेशन। यानी अगर लैक्टेशन पीरियड ज्यादा दिन तक चलता है तो उस बीच में फर्टिलाइजेशन होने की संभावना नहीं होती है, इसलिए कि उस बीच में ना मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल होगा, ना ओव्यूलेशन होगा, ना फर्टिलाइजेशन होगा। सो दीज आर द नेचुरल मेथड। इफ वी take attention or take care on this point, we can save the unwanted pregnancy. Now there is some methods in which we do not allow the sperm to come in contact of ovum. Understand? Means you do not allow to come the, and that is, there is a blockage between that. That is called barrier or blockage method, and for that we use the condoms, and it is usually used by male, and there is also and some that is used by female. Condom is also available, so it is avoid. It should be used. It does not allow to come the sperm in contact of ova, and it is one of the best way to save us, yes, to save the person from sexual transmitting disease. So it is the method. And condom, it is used by the male and also by female, and it is one of the way to save the person from sexual transmitting disease. Understand? Second is, next one is cervical cap or diaphragm, used by female, and that these are the cap which also does not allow to enter the sperm. So these are the some method which do not allow the sperm to come in contact of the ovum, so there is no chance of fertilizations. Next one is method is IUDs. Intrauterine devices, that is IUDs, and this is especially for the female, and it is used in the uterus, and it is also called IUCD, means intrauterine contraceptive device. So IUDs, in that the first one is copper T, which use the females in their uterus, and that does not allow to fertilization. Copper T, copper Cu7 and multilayer, they release copper ion, which affects the motility of sperm. It affects the motility of sperm, and because sperms are mobile, so either decrease its mobility, so it does not reach the ovum, or increase in so much amount that due to increasement it dies. So it affects the CONs, it affects the mobility of the sperm. Now the chemical matter, some chemicals we use usually by females, to avoid fertilization. One is spermicidal jelly. This is the jelly which is used by females and to avoid fertilization. And the most important is the contraceptive pills. Understand? And this contraceptive pills is usually the mixture of progesterone plus estrogen. Understand? Or estrogen, like that. And they are available in the forms of the tablet, Mala D and Sally. So these are the tablets which you use, and in that you will get 28 tablets and 7 of iron tablets and remaining 21 for continuing. And this is this starts to, usually the females starts to take after the 5 days of menstruation, and it continues till the next menstruation is come. So during that period, this progesterone and estrogens hormones become so high in concentration that they do not allow the fertilization. So these are the contrast, they are safe, and this is the Malady and the Sally. These are the pills. Understand? So females are generally used to avoid the unwanted pregnancy. And also there are some tablets which, if the females use after the within the 72 hours of the sexual union, that also effective. So such condition of such use of tablets are used within the 72 hours after the sexual union. Next one is implant. The taking of pills is a short effective, that is for short time. For the long duration, this implant method is used. In that we mix the progesterone plus estrogen, and their injection is injected under the skin, and that is injected under the skin where it secretes hormones and which avoids the fertilization, and it is a long period, it works for long duration. Finally, surgical methods. It is used in both male and female. We know that testis, sperm forms in the testis, and through the vas differentia goes away. So if we cut the vas difference, so there will be no migration of the sperm. So by cutting the vasa differentia. Similarly, in the female, the fertilization takes place in fallopian tube. So if we cut the starting of the fallopian tube, the sperm will not enter in that. So by cutting the fallopian tube. By cutting the fallopian tube, the sperm will not enter the fallopian tube and there is no fertilization. And so it is called a vasectomy and it is called tubectomy. Means cutting of vas deferens and cutting of fallopian tube. In such a way, we can avoid pregnancy, and if there is no pregnancy, and in this way we can control on the birth of the child, and so the population is controlled.